We have previously scanned Metasploitable and Windows 7 machines. Apparently, there are many open ports and services we can use, especially on Metasploitable. At this stage, you, as a penetration tester, need to figure out which of those services have some kind of vulnerability. Luckily, our target system is Metasploitable now, and there are lots of stuff we can use to get into that system. Keep in mind, this is actually deliberately done this way. Things will be much harder than this in real-life situations. Let's see what can we do to exploit the targets now. In the previous lecture, we have imported the Nmap findings to the MSF database. You can simply list them with services and hosts commands, like this. There are many interesting stuff on the output of especially services command. IP address, port, service name, and some details. You need to take a closer look at these services and figure out if there is anything useful. For example, I see there is Samba working on 174.131 Metasploitable on ports 139 and 445. Let's check out our options here. Type search Samba on MSF console to see the modules if there is any. Alright, we found lots of options here. You see the matching module's name, disclosure date, rank, and description. If you see excellent or great in this rank column, this one, third one, that means the success rate is quite good for those modules. You can give a try on good, average, and normal types of ranks as well, but keep in mind that those modules might not work very well in some cases. Okay, let's try our luck with the first excellent one. Exploit multi-Samba user map script. You remember how do we set the modules? Perfect, you guessed it right. We need to copy this and then type use and simply paste it. Also, you can use exploit tab, multi tab, Samba tab, and user map script as well, and then press enter. Now we have enabled this module, we can simply type info again to see the details. In the description part it says, this module exploits a command execution vulnerability in Samba versions 3.0.20 through 3.0.25. You remember the version we have discovered? Let's type services again to double check. It says 3.x. That means Nmap scan was not able to determine the exact version, but that shouldn't limit us to try our chances. You see there are only two options we need to set. When you type info, all we have is our host and our port. And our port was actually set by default. All we need to do is to set our host now. Set our host, and then 129, 168, 174, and 131. Okay. When you type info, you will see our setting is here. We have successfully set our host. Seems all good. Now let's type run to see what happens. Alright, it looks like we have our first shell. If you read command shell session 1 opened, this one, that's a good sign. Let's double check if we have leveraged the exploit without any problems. Type ID to see your privileges on the remote system. Metasploitable. Where was Metasploitable? Here. Waiting for us to be exploited. Okay, let's send this back. It says ID root, ID root. And then, what about print working directory? This is where we have landed. Root directory. Perfect. What about ls? We see the names of the folders or files on the root directory. Finally, let's type ifconfig to get the IP details. 174.131. Looks like it all seems good and working. Now you have exploited a vulnerability and got a root shell on the remote server. Practically, that means you pwned that victim. What else to do? Basically anything you want. Look for the files per your interest. Download the etc passvd file, this one, or etc shadow file or password hashes, or many other things you want. Whatever you want to do, now you have the root access. Let's press Ctrl C to abort the session. But don't forget, since you are an ethical hacker, having a privilege which enables you to do anything you want doesn't actually mean you can do anything you want on that server. Always stick with the contract you have signed before the pen test. Use your power with caution.